Factsverse presents Top 10 Strangest Coincidences. Number 10. In 1899, a Canadian actor living in Texas fell ill and died. Due to the distance between Texas and his home in Canada, Prince Edward Island, he was buried at a local cemetery in Texas. He stayed there for a year until a hurricane wrecked and flooded the area, taking his coffin into the Gulf of Mexico. The coffin floated into the water and continued floating for another 8 years. It was finally received when fishermen saw and retrieved it. The fishermen were in Prince Edward Island. They buried his coffin at the church where he was christened. Number 9. A German mother photographed her young son and sent the film to be developed. In these days, each plate for film was sold individually, so there was one photo per plate. Before she could get her film back, though, World War I broke out. With the war in full swing, she could not do a thing to get the photo of her son. Once the war ended, she decided to take a new picture, this time of her newborn girl. She purchased another plate and took a photo with it, then sent it to be developed. However, upon pickup, she noticed that there were 2 pictures in the single image. One was of her daughter and the other her son. Number 8. A couple found love and married, even with a border separating them. Alex and Donna were truly in love and truly ready to marry one another. The two met at work and figured they had no connected past, especially with Alex living in Canada and Donna in the States. That changed, however, when Alex flipped through a photo album belonging to Donna. He saw in one photo his own father in the background. As it turns out, many years before Alex and Donna met, their families had went on a trip to Disney World. Number 7. When Adriana and Leandro met, they quickly fell in love. They were together for years, even raising their daughter together. They expected to stay together and to stay in love. There were so many things that brought them together after all. One of these things is that they were both abandoned by their mothers. They both searched for their mothers for a long time. Adriana ended up on a show in Brazil that specialized in reuniting family members, which did reunite her with her mother. When reunited, her mother gave her another piece of news. She had a brother named Leandro. As it turns out, Adriana married her brother without realizing it. They decided that, even with that, they would stay together. Number 6. A 17-year-old riding down the road on his moped was hit by a taxi. The accident killed him. The strange part of this is that it was the same taxi, the same driver, and the same passenger and the same road as the moped rider's brother's death. His brother, too, died at the same age of 17. Number 5. In the late 1800s, a rape and murder in a small area of England caught everyone's attention. 157 years later, at the same spot, there was another rape and murder. The 2 girls shared a birth date. Both visited friends to change into a party dress, and they had suspects with the same surname. The suspects were both eventually acquitted. Number 4. James Dean's Porsche is famous, and not just because it looks cool and he looked good in it. After he crashed the Porsche, a series of accidents related to it occurred. At the garage where it was fixed after the crash, it fell onto the legs of the mechanic. The man who received the engine crashed and the car caught on fire. The car continually fell when being towed or when on display. It was named an unlucky car because of everything that happened with it. Number 3. A man traveled to England to find his daughter with whom he had lost contact. He wished to find her dearly and contacted the newspaper for help. To make sure that the daughter saw him and knew it was him, he provided a picture of him with his 2 other daughters. It got the daughter's attention, and everyone reunited for a happy moment. The daughter then realized while looking at the photo, she was actually in the photo too. In the background, she walked with her mother, and you could see them both. They were so close to one another while he was still in his search. Number 2. The Omen was a movie from the 70s that sent a chill up many spines. It left people fearing for their own lives. Even the cast and crew were terrified, but not because of the movie itself. They were terrified because they were dealing with situations similar to the movie. The lead actor's son committed suicide prior to filming. 2 planes which cast and crew were on were hit by lightning, and after shooting, a crew member was decapitated in a manner similar to what happened in the movie. There were a handful of other incidents too. Number 1. People all across the world know of and fear Vladimir Putin. He takes steps to ensure that this is the case. The image of a powerful man really is no joke to a lot of people, so much so that they might think he is immortal. While it seems ridiculous to assume that any human is immortal, people feel that they have found evidence for Vladimir Putin. That evidence is a group of photos showing him or someone who looks like him from over the last 100 years. These photos are of people who look like Putin, of course. They go back the last 100 years, showing 2 remarkably similar men that are young. If this were Putin, it would look as if he has not aged much in the last 100 years. All photos are of young and fit men with faces that are surprisingly similar to Putin himself. Subscribe for more.